City of Stevens Point Public Policy and General Government Meeting, recorded September 9, 2024.
I will call the Public Policy and General Government Meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. Clerk, would you please call roll?
Kiemer.
Here.
Burr. Here. Steinmetz.
Here.
Lang.
Here.
Boozy.
Here.
Great, thank you very much. We have a short license list tonight, just a change of agent for Quick Trip for their Stanley Street location and a temporary Class B beer license for Citizens Action of Wisconsin for an event at Piffner Park the end of this month. Are there any questions or comments from the committee? From the audience or online? Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any noes? And that passes. Item number 3 is a request to hold an event. This is a new event, the Hope Get Out the Vote Extravaganza Tour, again at Piffner Park on September 26th. Chief, is there any requests from law enforcement?
Nope, no
Okay.
issues.
And they did not request any, and there's no road closings or anything with that. Are there any other questions or comments from the committee?
Get out and vote.
Get out the, all right, very good. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And that passes unanimously. Our fourth and final item is an ordinance amendment for the creation of a sustainability commission. And I see an alder approaching. Nope. Okay, very good.
Go on, Logan.
Okay. And yeah, it sounds like Attorney Beveridge is here for questions. I have a couple just small minor questions. Some are grammatical and whatnot, but before I get into those, I just wanted to give the committee a chance to chime in if they have any comments or questions or regarding this. Anyone?
I'd just say thanks to the work that we got done there with city staff and the alder that was bringing this forward. Just thank you for the work on this.
Thank you, Alder Lang. Yeah, I went through Chapter 3 of our ordinance, and there's a number of other ordinances that are similar to this that create various commissions, and yeah, this seemed pretty straightforward and pretty simple and streamlined. Is there anyone from the audience or online who has any questions, comments, concerns?
Laura Broderick, 433 Wadley Street, District 4 Alder. I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been involved with putting this together. The ordinance amendment tonight is the culmination of a lot of work by a lot of different people, and truly an impressive amount of community support, more community support than I have seen from anything else that I've been involved with in my time on council. So I am excited to see this pass tonight, and very excited to see the list of appointments to come before council in the near future, I hope. Thank you.
Thank you, Alder Broderick. Yeah, I guess my only question was in regards to item, I'm trying to see the number, 5F, where it mentions the designated agent, and I guess this is a question for Attorney Beveridge, just in terms of who could that designated agent be, and could it be multiple people, or is it typically just one person?
So that language is kind of recycled from the Bike Ped Committee, and I actually don't really think of that as being the permanent bit of language for there. I stared at it and then thought, well, I don't think I just want to like make a decision myself in my office while I'm typing on this thing in terms of what goes in there. Obviously, there's going to have to be some staff support for this in terms of like assembling agendas, publishing them, minutes, all that stuff. You know, producing some sort of content for the meetings. Hopefully, there's a lot of participation on that end of things from the actual members of the commission as well, and community members. But really, in terms of just a topic for this committee and the council to sort of finalize, that is the line in it that I'd like to still get more input on. I think, I stressed on, some private conversations with Max Johnson, Alder Broderick, and said, the last thing we want here is for it to just be overly burdensome on staff.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, it says in there, shall meet quarterly or as needed. That's not a, crazy amount of meetings. But one thought that had occurred to me was the notion of, we have some departments where sustainability issues are, much more prominent than in some other, like my department. I can turn the thermostat down a degree in my office, that sort of thing. But I'm kidding. The thermostat in my office doesn't work. So the thought that each one of these quarterly meetings could sort of be like a focus of a different department in terms of getting their moment to shine with the committee is probably not a crazy idea. But I think that aspect is something that needs to be figured out still, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be codified in the ordinance. As long as everything functions and people are, undertaking to, kind of pick up the mantle and accomplish those tasks, it'll be just fine. So, like, in theory, you could even just remove that. But again, it's something where I think we need some input from the stakeholders here.
Sure, thank you so much for that. Yeah, just kind of off the cuff, I did notice that there wasn't a staff person assigned to this commission. In some ways, I thought that was probably a wise decision. Just because, to mention Adam Kuhn an example, he's on like 6 or 7 different committees, it seems like. So given how kind of stretched staff are and the fact that this does have like a number of different facets that it touches on, I do kind of like the flexibility that, depending on the topic that this commission is addressing, they could consult with the Director of Public Works 1 month or 1 season and then consult with someone else and kind of work with them.
So I'll go to my office tomorrow and I'll write Scott Badoon right there.
Sure.
Sorry, Scott.
Got it.
We could probably do a motion on the floor.
But yeah, it does. From the way that you've explained it, I feel like it does give some dexterity and flexibility in terms of, the commission to consult with various department heads and various people on staff. So in that respect, I think it's fine, or I think it's great, but I guess I would be open to other people's.
I could also just, put in something that says city staff as necessary, something really flexible. That's also just fine.
Is there anyone from the audience who has any comments in regards to the wording? Yes, Alderling.
Okay, so on that designated agent thing, is there like a conflict of interest that would occur? Could that be the chair of the commissioner? Like, is there could somebody fill 2 roles there?
No, it's not that that's a conflict of interest. It's just more a matter of the way that word or that phrase has functioned with regards to bike ped. That's a city staff member, somebody who's just there in the office, Monday through Friday, and then works with the chair to come up with content for it. So it's, having that be the same person it's like asking one hand to clap, kind of.
Thank you.
Why don't you get clever now?
Well, and I guess just to make sure I'm understanding this, just because that wording or that clause is there, that does not prohibit the chairperson from just setting the agenda independently.
No, it doesn't. And, obviously we have a ton of leeway in terms of items getting onto agendas. And that's, doubly so for something that's meant to be, advisory like this, as opposed to like, a member of the community just saying, hey, put this item on the finance committee agenda for us to, consider some proposal to spend a bunch of money. It might be a little more, guarded, like, hey, now. But with this, there's a ton of flexibility. And, obviously we do have some rules elsewhere in Chapter 3 about how things get onto agendas. But it's not so much about the authority to put things on there. It's just about the day-to-day nuts and bolts of producing the documentation and just, stuff that requires actual, hours spent doing the work.
Making sure the legal requirements are met, those sorts of things too.
Okay. Well, and again, our vote or approval tonight, or I guess our vote is recommended or advisory to council. So I think if there are suggestions that you have, those could always be brought up next Monday as well. But with that, I guess I would look for a motion on this.
I do have one more question.
Oh, sure, yeah,
I guess my first question. Do we have a feel for the timeline? I know, Mayor, you make appointments after, if it's approved. Do we think it's going to be like in a month, 2 months?
I've heard there's a lot of interest. I can tell you that we have 2 openings right now on the Zoning Board of Appeals that have been open for the better part of 6 months. If anybody's interested, please apply. Sometimes it's hard to get volunteers, but it sounds like there's a fair amount of interest in this one. Alder Broderick said that that's probably the most enthusiastic people have been on anything she's done so far. So
We had a lot of turnout for it.
as soon as it gets approved, we post it and review those so we could have a committee as early as the October meeting. But
Okay.
you have to have qualified candidates.
Thank you.
Anything else from the committee or the audience online? Okay. Is there a motion?
I'd move approval.
Okay.
Second.
All right. We have a first and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And that passes unanimously, and we are adjourned at 7:15.
A video of this meeting is available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.